Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
You know, I think marijuana is God's greatest gift to us. I think it's, it could save our world. A friend of mine, John Trudell, says hemp is earth medicine. It's medicine for our bodies. It helps us achieve homeostasis, where our body systems are aligned. And it produces more fuel, more fiber, more food than any other plant on this planet. The law here isn't good enough yet. The vote for I-502 is a big step forward. But we need to restore hemp and let people grow their own. Unfortunately, the current law doesn't allow you to grow your own. The taxes are too high. Marijuana grows on trees. I personally grow 12-foot tall marijuana trees in Oregon, and I give it away for free. I enjoy that. I give it to sick and dying patients, and I've been doing it for years. I call it America's most public marijuana garden. But I do it all organically, and it saved many people's lives. But it's not just about the medicine. Humans began cultivating marijuana before history, in prehistoric times. And all archaeologists agree that marijuana, hemp, could be the oldest crop purposely grown by humans, perhaps as much as 35,000 years ago. So it's the basis of the foundation of agriculture, and that means the foundation of civilization itself. So it produces more fuel, over 300 gallons an acre, they find from feral hemp fields in Illinois. More food, 6,000 pounds of hemp seed meals left over after they press the oil out of it. More fiber, 30 to 40 tons of fiber for canvas, rope, lace, linen, paper, and building materials. And more medicine for us. And the leaves go back into the soil. The root draws up subsoil nutrients and makes them available in the next crop rotation. And when we burn hemp fuel, it's carbon negative. We're taking carbon out of the atmosphere to make it into fuel. So hemp can really change our whole economic paradigm. When we are able to grow hemp without regard to its THC content, but with regard to the varieties that produce the most seed oil, seed protein, and stalks and stems for fiber, it'll change the whole economic paradigm. And instead of giving our money to Exxon and Mobil and the Saudi sheiks and the Nigerian despots and the Swiss bank accounts, it'll go to our farmers and into our pockets and in our communities. Marijuana prohibition was never about drugs. Marijuana prohibition and drugs is a smokescreen, pardon the pun. But marijuana prohibition has always been about money, power, and the continued centralization of economic and political control. And we end marijuana prohibition and allow farmers to grow hemp for fuel, fiber, food, and medicine, we'll change the whole economic paradigm and take the money out of the hands of the petrochemical, pharmaceutical, military, industrial, transnational, corporate, elite, fascist sons of a bitches. And we'll put it in our pockets instead. So get active politically. Don't settle for what we have. Work to make this world a better place, please. That is your mission. Please go from here and do that. Thanks for listening. Help us restore hemp. Have a good day.
We're back now with a move that is certain to sharpen the debate over legalizing marijuana in this country. Today, the New York Times became the largest newspaper to endorse decriminalizing pot at the federal level. It comes as many states have moved on their own in varying degrees. We get more tonight from NBC's Kristen Welker.
All across across the country, people are using pot with fewer legal consequences. Colorado and Washington becoming the first two states to legalize marijuana for recreational purposes. And today, the New York Times said the country needs to go further. In a long editorial, the paper wrote, the federal government should repeal the ban on marijuana. Comparing it to the days of prohibition, the paper argues that, like in that period, otherwise law-abiding citizens today are becoming criminals.
$3 to $4 billion a year is spent on this, and there are like 600, 700,000 marijuana possession arrests a year.
The reaction was swift.
I think it should be a state issue. I don't think it's really a federal issue.
I don't see how there would be anything that is so substantially beneficial to society by lifting a ban like that.
Rewind to 1992 when Bill Clinton ran for president and his use of marijuana was a political liability.
I didn't like it and didn't inhale and never tried it again.
Compare that to candidate Barack Obama in 2008, who openly admitted to smoking and inhaling. 36 states plus the District of Columbia have loosened their marijuana laws, and polls show more than 50% of Americans now think it should be legalized.
We don't care if anybody smokes or doesn't smoke. We're absolutely not encouraging it.
But the Times argues that it should still be off limits to those under 21. In an interview for Meet the Press, former Congressman Patrick Kennedy, who has admitted to battling drug addiction, said legalizing marijuana is a slippery slope.
It ultimately will set up a marketplace for the commercialization. And with the commercialization, you're going to have a marketing campaign targeting kids.
A concern shared by some other parents.
We do not know the outcome, except that the best evidence is that you lose, if you use marijuana as a teenager regularly, 8 IQ points. And I don't know about the rest of the table, but I don't have 8 to lose.
The Times noted there is still some debate about the health risks. President Obama has said he thinks marijuana is no more dangerous than alcohol, but he has not expressed support for legalizing it at the federal level. Meanwhile, 2 more states, Alaska and Oregon, will decide whether to allow marijuana for recreational purposes later this year. Lester.
All right, Kristen, thanks.
Seattle's first marijuana retail store opened today, just a few hours ago. As Dana Rebick reports for Fox 12, the line grew to about 250 people today.
This is the entrance to Cannabis City here behind me. They're only allowing a few people to go in at a time. This is where the line starts, and it wraps all the way around this building and down an alleyway. We were just told that more than 400 customers have already been inside, some of the first to make history here in Seattle.
We've got about 200 people waiting in line. I'm not letting anybody cut.
They started stacking up more than 24 hours ago.
I just came to get in line with everybody else.
Deb Green from Ballard scored the first spot and got first dibs when doors opened just after noon.
3, 2, 1, open for business! Right here?
It's like a candy store. It's like chocolates. You'll never get enough.
Inside, a steady flow of the first legal retail pot customers in Seattle.
We have a Copper Kush, an OG Pearl, the Sweet Lafayette, and the Opal OG Kush. I'm looking to serve some nice, sweet, fat nugs.
And there were plenty to choose from. 10 pounds delivered this morning, all divided into 2-gram bags at $40 a piece.
What do you recommend? I like a nice kind of heavy, heady buzz. I'm going to take a gram of the Opal OG Kush and a gram of the Copper Kush because I deserve it. If I'm not mistaken, Benjamin Franklin would be behind this transaction. 80 out of 100. $20 is your change.
This is Seattle history. This is true local Seattle history. Be a part of it.
Even Seattle City Attorney Pete Holmes couldn't resist.
The most important takeaway for everyone here is that today marijuana sales became legal. And I'm here to personally exercise myself this new freedom.
In he went, and a few minutes later,
I bought 2-gram bags of, I think they called it OG Pearl. That's what the grower recommended.
And are you going to smoke it?
I'm keeping 1 bag for posterity, 1 for personal enjoyment at some point when it's appropriate.
I'm inherently proud that our city attorney has not only played an important role in making this happen, this groundbreaking shift in public policy, but he's backing up his words. He's going to take some big, nice, long, deep tokes at home. I think that's all right.
Song I wrote about my hero, my musical hero. Everybody's got a musical hero. It might be Bob Marley, might be like Bob Dylan, everybody's got a musical hero. I've had a whole bunch of them in my time. But the guy that mattered the most to me when I was coming up and learning how to play guitar was Sam Hopkins. They call him Lightning, that was his professional name. Sam Lightning Hopkins. Sam was from Texas, from a little town called Centerville, Texas. A little small town. And I met him here in Seattle up at the old Fresh Air Tavern. And this is what happened. No one could sing the blues like Lightning Hopkins. I don't care what anybody said. I was 15 years old, riding by the passenger window with my radio up against my head. And that's when I heard him for the first time, cutting in through the noise of the car. And my whole world turned upside down. I just had to learn to sing and play guitar. So I got on my bicycle with the high-rise handlebars, and I would ride for 20 miles on a run. I got every one of his records I could find back then. Yes, I did. I had 11 of them by the time I was done. And I never learned to play the blues. I hope that's alright. I never learned to play the blues, but I could sing and play guitar all night. Now, years later up in Seattle town, Lightning came to playing 3 nights in a row. I caught up with him early in the dressing room. Somehow I just had to let him know. So I took out my guitar and I started playing. And I made him up a song to tell it right about the radio, the car, and all of his records. And how glad I was to meet him that night. And I sang about what he taught me without even knowing it. And all the lessons that I still had to learn. Lightning, he just grinned. When I was done, he told me a story in return. And I never learned to play the blues. I hope that's alright. I never learned to play the blues, but I could sing and play guitar all night. Now this is what he told me. He said he was walking around the backwoods down in Texas one time. He was only 12 years old. He was carrying his guitars almost as big as he was. He was tired, hungry, and cold. He saw some people were having a picnic, and he had to take a sing for his meal. They turned him away, he said, because he was too raggedy. He could still remember how it made him feel. He looked off into the distance through his dark sunglasses, and he grinned a little more just for chance. He said, now I got money in the bank back home, and they know who I am in France. And I never learned to play the blues. I hope that's alright. I never learned to play the blues, but I can sing and play the guitar all night. Yes, I can. Lightning died back in '82. I can still remember where I was and how I heard. I was playing a meeting place in Dublin. A local blues singer gave me the word. Now some people, they pass right through you, and maybe they leave a little mark. Some people shine like a light for you sometimes, help you find your way when it gets dark. They said that this world is made of stories. From these stories, our songs are grown. Sometimes, you know, the songs just get so big, you have to go out and make a song of your own. And I never learned to play the blues. I hope that's alright. I never learned to play the blues, but I can sing and play guitar all night.
So so much for HempFest, for inviting me. HempFest 2014 is really great to be here. Michael Krawitz, Executive Director, Veterans for Medical Cannabis Access. And I'm here for the United States military veterans in the house. Let's hear it for the U.S. military veterans in the house. And it's been I guess I don't need to tell you all, it's been a tough road for veterans dealing with the VA. And that's, of course, where the veteran gets a lot of health care assistance and health care benefits and treatment at the VA hospitals. And God, it stops me in my tracks just thinking about the horrendous outcome. We've got death. I mean, we've got mayhem out there as a result of government programs gone awry. And I guess, like I said, I don't really need to tell you all about that. You get that in the news. But I want to give you an update. Last year, we've worked really hard at the national level. Veterans for Medical Cannabis Access is involved in several different things, working with the federal government, working with the VA, make sure that veterans can go into the VA and not be harassed for using medical marijuana outside the VA. It's a simple thing to ask. We're not asking for much. Just not be hassled for using medical marijuana per state program when we go into the VA hospital and get the rest of our treatment. And thankfully, as a result of our work, many veterans across the country, culminating in 2010 and being reissued in 2011, we do have a VA policy that allows veterans to use medical marijuana in a state program and not be harassed when they go into VA hospital, and that is really a good thing. And that we appreciate all the help from everyone that helped us get that done. Now we're making sure that ailments that veterans suffer from, they're ailments that everyone might suffer from at one point or another in their life with some bad luck or just maybe some age. But veterans maybe suffer from these things at a little higher rate, statistically, post-traumatic stress, chronic pain, traumatic brain injury, etc. And we're working to try to make sure that those things are covered under state laws. The VA has handed this off to the state. Now we're making sure that the states pick up their end. And right here in Washington State, we're working on trying to get post-traumatic stress added as a qualifying condition. It's really important that we get this done. Anybody out there that can help, anybody that knows a legislator, anybody that hasn't talked to their family or friends about cannabis for veterans and how we need to be able to have that added into the state law, do so. Please help us out with that. When we get that added into state law, then you'll be able to go to the VA and tell them that I'm participating in a state medical marijuana program, I'm using medical marijuana, and you'll be able to integrate that into your treatment. You can't go the other way around. Just so everybody knows, you got to go to the state doctor first, not the VA doctor first. I just want to make sure everyone gets that clear. So thank you so much, everybody. It really does my heart good to be out here with y'all. I think that a lot of people come up here and they give you a lot of jobs to do, write a letter. I was just telling you, tell your friends and neighbors. That's all well and good, but I want you to know that just being here, just the beauty of you all being here and enjoying yourselves and just your existence alone, as just the cannabis people, the cannabis tribe, getting together, enjoying the weed, enjoying the music, and then just going home. I think it's like miraculous to some people in this world, and I think that your existence alone is really saying a lot to the world. And they're listening. They're listening. I'm up there, I'm telling you, in Uruguay, they hear you. They hear you, man. They're listening. So thank you, everybody.
Dozens of major studies have been published in the last few years that indicate that the chemicals in cannabis, in the lab and in animals, have a significant effect on fighting almost all major cancers, including brain, breast, prostate, lung, thyroid, colon, skin, pituitary, melanoma, and leukemia cancers. They do this by promoting the death of cancer cells that have forgotten how to die, as well as a reduction in their crucial blood supply, while leaving healthy cells untouched. But why, you may wonder, would cannabis have any effect on cancer? The answer can be explained in one word: endocannabinoids. Amazing as it sounds, we're all born with a form of cannabis already in our bodies. It's called the endocannabinoid system. The endocannabinoid system, or ECS, influences multiple physiological processes. This intricate system modulates energy intake as well as nutrient transport, metabolism, and storage. a completely natural collection of compounds. Endocannabinoids are our body's own form of marijuana and are involved in most of our cells and structures. They control a variety of functions in the nervous system, heart, reproductive, and immune systems. Endocannabinoid messengers help the cells communicate. Typically, they protect our good cells while killing the bad ones, like cancer cells. In all animals, the nervous system is made of the same components, large numbers of nerve cells carrying electrical signals. And wherever the cells meet, these signals are passed to a receptor in the next cell by a chemical messenger called a neurotransmitter. Inside the brain, there are different types of neurotransmitters, including dopamine and serotonin. All animals, from rodents to fish to elephants to humans, have inherited this basic structure. But hundreds of millions of years ago, the sea squirt and other primitive invertebrates evolved an innovation to this system.
What happened was the nervous system acquired a new chemical, if you like, that had a new flavor, a new type of chemical. And it's this chemical that is related in structure, has a similar shape to the chemical that's found in cannabis.
Because of this similarity, these new signals came to be known as cannabinoids. It was inevitable that eventually cannabis would meet its perfect partner, us. Whether you like it or not, each and every one of us is fundamentally wired to respond to cannabis.
Now, receptors are not built in our brain or anywhere in our body, of course, or animal bodies, because there is a plant out there that will produce a compound that acts on them. That just doesn't work that way. Receptors are found in our body because we produce compound that will activate those receptors. So obviously we thought that there should be endogenous compounds which act on those receptors. The fact that there is a plant compound, a tetrahydrocannabinol, a THC, which acts on those receptors is just a quirk of nature.
After scientists discovered THC, they found that it could bind to specific receptors in the brain and the area around it, and that this interaction created a cascade of biological processes leading to the well-known high.
What does it feel like? It looks very enjoyable.
My God, it's fun. It was amazing. Amazing.
If you block the endocannabinoids artificially in mice, they tend to grow tumors, and they also get depressed. A few years ago, some brilliant entrepreneurs came up with the idea of blocking the endocannabinoids in our body to create a new diet drug. The theory being, if cannabis gives people the munchies, then blocking the endocannabinoids would make them lose their appetites. The drug they developed, Rimonabant, did indeed reduce appetite by blocking the endocannabinoid receptors. But data from clinical trials showed that Rimonabant users suffered depression, anxiety, insomnia, and aggressive impulses at twice the rate of subjects given a placebo.
Well, Sanofi-Aventis, the company that had developed and was marketing this agent, did not study people with a history of psychiatric illness or depression before they applied for approval. That was probably a mistake. The EMA did approve it, and the drug's been on the market in Europe for a year and a half by now. And I've sort of said if there was any real problem with this that was more than just theoretical, we would know. Well, it turns out we do know. And they've suggested now that the risk for this agent outweighs the benefit.
In one study, there were 5 suicides among Rimonabant users because, as they discovered, endocannabinoids are also mood regulators with the capacity to make us feel euphoric or, when blocked, depressed. Rimonabant was finally withdrawn from the market in 2008. Researchers at the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Texas reported that mice on Ramonabant developed potentially cancerous polyps at a far higher rate than controls, confirming that endocannabinoids are not only mood regulators, but tumor regulators as well.
My good Italian friend Di Maso summarized the activity, which is really a summary, says, well, what do the endocannabinoids do? They relax, help us eat, sleep, forget, and protect. Not remember, forget. And don't think that forgetting is less important than recalling. We should have a system to forget. Otherwise, well, if you wish, we can burst. If you go down a mall and see 1,000 faces, do you want to remember all of them? Of course not.
What's especially fascinating is that while significant numbers of endocannabinoids are not normally found in breast and prostate cells, the homes for the two leading forms of cancer, it appears that large quantities show up only after normal cells begin to progress toward a state of uncontrolled growth, in a desperate attempt to restrain the tumorous invaders. The endocannabinoids already in our bodies did an efficient job for hundreds of thousands of years, working as tumor regulators, free radical scavengers, and anti-inflammatory agents. But then, once we entered the industrial age with all its pollution and chemical doctoring of food, the endocannabinoids became overwhelmed and couldn't keep up with the task of keeping us healthy and protected from toxins. Better public health helped us live longer. But unfortunately, human beings became inundated with the free radicals our bodies produced naturally by simply being alive, along with an unprecedented avalanche of carcinogens and contaminants, including pharmaceutical drugs. The endocannabinoids needed help. Enter cannabis. When marijuana is consumed and broken down into a collection of cannabinoid molecules, the THC and its sisters seek out and bind with the endocannabinoid receptors already inside us. Together, they give the body more ammunition against all of the diseases of modern times.
And let me show you what we have. So this is an image from our subject from today.
The receptors are highlighted in what color?
In bright red. Well, any color that you see, there are receptors. And red is the really dense areas. And you can see there's a lot of red and yellow. Green and blue are the really not dense areas where there are not many receptors in our brain.
So they really are everywhere?
Yes, yes. Yeah. In fact, they're the densest receptors, one of the densest receptors in the brain, most populated throughout the entire brain. Right into the brain. Look how hot that is.
Wow.
Right in the brain. But there's also cannabinoid receptors in the liver. Also, look at the bone marrow, the vertebral column, the ribs.
So how do you think what we're seeing here in this image, how does that relate to the experience of using cannabis?
Well, look at the amount of cannabinoid receptors in the brain. A lot of them. A lot of the effects of cannabis use are in the brain. Euphoria, as an anxiolytic, it dissolves your anxiety, or it can even cause your anxiety. So cannabis abusers or cannabis users talk about having this high, the euphoria, that's probably from some of the deep structures in the brain.
Scientists are now experimenting to see which parts of the pot plant, including its cannabinoids and other biological compounds, might be the most effective against a variety of diseases, including diabetes and cancer.
I used to listen to my boy Ricky James. He used to sing about this son he called a girl Mary Jane. I never understood why he was so in love with this woman, but now Rick, I know exactly where you probably was coming from. Ever since I met Miss Mary Jane, your boy Mac been sprung. Now I roll into my old school, take her to the parties that I roll to. I love the girl, man. She gives me that feeling that I want to give back. That's why in love with you, Mary Jane's the truth. You give me feeling that I never felt before. That's why I want to see you all involved. Shout out to the freedom fighters trying to legalize it. Legalize it in all 50 states. Fight for your right to smoke, loved ones. No matter where you're at in this world. Yes, to what your power do. You got power, dude. You got power, chick. Us together. California, Colorado, Washington, 25 states, and we can hear back Washington. President Obama legalized marijuana. I need it for my medicine, yeah. Cause we can use the hemp to eliminate the deficit. Williams wanna legalize it, and Tommy Chong wanna legalize it, and Paul Stanford wanna legalize it, and the Martinez wanna legalize it, legalize it, legalize it, and wanna legalize it. Much love it. And Ananias wanna legalize it, yeah. The Hempfest wanna legalize it, yeah. And Mac and Dove wanna legalize it, legalize it, legalize it. Legal. People are in jail right now over smoking the best plant God ever created. I'm gonna tell you a true story. Yo, break it down. Listen, I once got arrested over a half a gram of weed. Mrs. Officer, why are you harassing me? It's just my medication. But she still cut me up and took me down to the station. My husband on a dinner joint, it was just a dinner joint. Took my last bit of weed and hold me up a dinner joint. Till they got the law, I'm gonna battle right the smoke. And when the next election comes round, so you count on road. Mr. President Obama, you can stop the drama. Stop the drama. Executive order. Sign the executive order. Legalize marijuana. Michael Williams wanna legalize it. Yeah. And Tommy Chong wanna legalize it. And Paul Stanford wanna legalize it. Vivian McKeith wanna legalize it, legalize it. And Henry Left wanna legalize it. And Anna Diaz wanna legalize it. My boy Michael wanna legalize it. Yeah. Philip wanna legalize it, legalize it, legalize it. Legal. Sing it with us. Sing it to the White House. Got one of Pontiac CDs for y'all. All I just want to get on stage with us and y'all go home for one today. Legalize the weed. Legalize in all 50 states. Thank y'all for joining us. Put your peace signs up one more time for me. God bless all of y'all. Legalize it. Mac and Dub and the Smoking Search. Thank y'all.
Thank you so very much. Hey, I'm Donnie Wertschafter, and I have the distinction of selling the first hemp fest 25 years ago. It's first hemp, you know, and I've been in the hemp industry, in the medical cannabis industry, and I've been attorney for many of the companies that sell their wares here through the years. And I gotta say how proud I am of Seattle, how proud I am of the state of Washington for pulling this off. I remember when we would come to Hempfest and they would have the vans, the police vans there, the headquarters vans and the paddy wagon vans, all ready to arrest hundreds of us for protesting the legalization of marijuana in this park. They were fairly brutal with us, I thought, you know, considering it was a protest. Many of us chose to risk our careers, to risk whatever, to do this civil protest that became Hempfest. And through the years, we organized and we educated ourselves enough that we could pass a proposition that made marijuana enforcement the lowest priority in the city of Seattle. And there were a lot of people against this, right, 10 years ago. Oh, if they legalize marijuana, it's going to make people drink, and then they're going to drink and they're going to be high, and we're going to have traffic accidents, and there's going to be all kinds of dead people, and all these things that they said. And what I want to know today is, 1 or 2 years after we have full legalization, after it's perfectly legal for us to do this thing, where are the bodies? Right? All these dire predictions, what was going to happen to our society if we simply taxed and regulated marijuana? Where are the harms? The state's making money. Some people favored by the state are making money. Other people not favored by the state are losing their shirts, you know. But, I mean, that's how business works. At least it's a business now and not an underground empire. And so I'm really proud of the way that Seattle has led the world on this. The activism of Seattle Hemp Fest succeeded in bringing about this miracle that we have here, that the whole world is watching. Now, here's my caution. You know, here's the Elster in me trying to say, please don't overdo it. We can blow all this work. We did it once before. We just about won this issue in the 70s, but stupid excess and some really hard work on the part of the right torpedoed all these efforts, and 40 years later we're still fighting the same battle. So my message to you is, don't overdo it. Don't do it in their faces. Don't make people mad. Don't cause a backlash that's going to take these incredible reforms we have away. And my other caution to the world of Seattle, of Washington, is all of these medical users. This whole thing was built on the medical users. And we seem to be trumping over the medical users in favor of commerce. Some people making a whole lot of money. And I really urge everybody to get together and work together and not fight, not battle like we did this last legislative session. We can win anything we want from the legislature. The legislature understands that 80% of the people are in favor of marijuana or medical marijuana or whatever their definition is. But if we don't present a united front, that 20% is going to win, and we're going to end up with an even more ridiculous set of regulations and rules and laws than we have now. All right? So thank you all for coming down to Hemp Fest. Everybody, please kick in those buckets.
Sir, what do you think about the legalization of marijuana in Washington State?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm for it.
So prohibition has lasted a long time, 70 years.
Like the old alcohol prohibition back in the 50s and 40s.
Yeah, and that just was a waste.
Well, I think it's great people getting liberties back. The fact that you could enjoy some recreational medicine, if you will, without the fear of prosecution, and get the stigma off it that it's the next step is heroin, which has been unfair for 50-something years plus.
With it coming into legalization, we're going to start to see the crime rates drop, I believe, because we're not going to be prosecuting, you know, normal everyday citizens for consuming a plant that, you know, it grows on its own. We don't have to manufacture it or make anything. So it'll be nice to see that families won't be split apart anymore and, you know, using up our tax dollars for, you know, needless reasons, really.
The state is taxing this so dramatically that there's an up price on everything, and all that tax should hopefully go to what we pay our tax dollars for, anything, our roads, our schools, our child care, our everything, our treatment centers for people who are hooked on heroin and cocaine and meth and stuff like that, when that's what it's about, saving people's lives, helping people, moving forward in this movement that's to help people. This isn't anything to hurt anybody, this is to help people, to push forward and help the community, the state, the city, everything that Washington's about.
I think it's going to help it financially. All your taxes are strapped, your constituents are strapped. I think this is going to be a welcome relief for everybody concerned.
With legalization coming in, the medical aspect of the marijuana industry will be able to see, basically it'll be less risque, less in the dark and everything like that. People won't feel so strange and like they're doing a bad thing coming in and getting the medicine that they need. Everyone should have the right to safe access to the medicine that they need. And with legalization coming in, it's going to make it that much easier for people to get the medicine that they need.
This law should help Washington because there's a lot of us who can't get any marijuana, period, unless you have to go to the black market, and it sucks. And then if you can't get a medical card, you can't get marijuana unless you go to the black market, and that's unfortunate for the guys who can't get that. And this is going to help a lot of people, like the elderly, who feel safer coming to a place like this when you can't. Like I've had 100 people come here today that I've never seen in a million years would have ever thought smoked marijuana or ate marijuana or ingested and consumed marijuana in general.
I think that what's going to happen is that when the other states start seeing what Washington and Colorado have been doing, I think that they're going to jump on board also. From my understanding, crime rates have dropped in Colorado. They'll probably drop here. It's going to be amazing, and I think others will follow suit.
I believe the other states will follow suit and give the liberties to the people, and everybody will, again, prosper. And on the same note, maybe bring hemp back into production and all the wonderful products that are made with hemp, the medicines. I think we're finally on a frontier. I've been waiting 45 years for this day.
I'm a huge believer in hemp, and why we're not growing hemp is ridiculous to me. And so that's for me, business-wise, is my next venture is hemp, buying land and growing hemp because of the amazing things we can do.
Great. The voters of the state of Washington passed an initiative, and the voters in the city of Vancouver passed that initiative by an even larger margin, 54%, saying yes to the legalization of recreational use of marijuana. We're pleased in the city of Vancouver to support the voters of our community. We're going to have up to six businesses operating in the city. I'm happy to be here to kick off this opportunity with Main Street Marijuana. I'm pleased to see so much energy and excitement around this from our community. So please enjoy, do it safely, do it within the law, support our local business. I'm proud of what these guys have accomplished. I know they want to be good neighbors. They've outreach to the businesses and the neighbors here in Uptown Village. And I think this is a great turning of a new chapter for the city of Vancouver. Yes. Thank you to each and every one of you for sitting in the cell. All right.
Come on in, buddy. Number one.
It means, like, you know, just pretty much we're getting our freedom to smoke, man, and you know what I mean? It's for everybody now, not just, it's not limited to anybody. Everybody's got access to it now, and you know, and it's, you know, the taboos are like over, you know what I mean? How it impacts me personally, like, just because I've been around it for so long, so like it's nothing really new for me, but it just makes me happy to see that everybody can enjoy it now. You know,
you don't have to worry about going to jail now.
You know, 5 years ago, when I was running for mayor, somebody asked me my position on marijuana legalization. And my answer then was, if every politician that ever smoked marijuana voted to legalize it, it'd be legal in an instant. Which is a funny line, right? So, I didn't think it was a big deal when I ran for office 5 years to come out for legalization. The people of Seattle had voted to make it the lowest enforcement priority. The state had medical marijuana. But I later discovered it was kind of a big deal. Lots of elected officials, lots of politicians weren't willing to do it yet. And there were a couple before me. Roger Goodman, who was in the State House, was a real leader, and there were others. But there weren't that many. Look at where it is 5 years later, right? 5 years ago, you had to explain why you were for it. Today, I think if you're a politician, not just in the state of Washington, but anywhere in the country, you're going to have to explain why are you against it. That's where this is going. And it's amazing how quickly these things can move. And they move because people organize, because people make a difference. It doesn't happen because of political leaders. Trust me. Most politicians will only do what the public's willing to say they want them to do. So you all made that happen. But while I got you here, you know, we're winning this issue. There's another green issue we need to win, and that's the fight against global warming. That's something I've worked on too. So I'm going to keep helping you all with pot legalization around the country, having sensible laws. I'd love you all to help me in making sure that we make this planet right for our children and fight global warming, fight coal trains, fight oil trains, and build a better future together. Thank you.
We're here to bring you that good weed music, ladies and gentlemen. I told my town I was going to represent up here in Seattle, the town of Portland. You see, we used to call it Portland, but now we call it Portland, baby. So Seattle, we want you to spell our new town out for us. We changed the name. Let me hear you say P-O-T-L-A-N-D. Portland. P-O-T-L-A-N-D. Portland. P-O-T-L-A-N-D. Portland. P-O-T-L-A-N-D. Now we call it Portland. Y'all be playing roses while we be playing blind, man. Got to see my fly, man. Room full of hot lamps. Some is when you see these men, that you gon' be like, oh damn. Look at all you trees and no weed ain't got no seeds. And it smell like tangerine. Can I have a sample, please? I'ma be like, yeah, yeah. Get that mic up off my just slip the smoke up in the shit. Let the weed just do the rush. Get high. What we gonna do? Get high. Everybody get high. If that's what we're doing. Get high. Sing it loud. Get high. Let me hear y'all sing it loud. Get high. Yeah. Get high. Y'all sound good out there. Get high. I got it rolling and we came to make it incubating. I got the seeds up in that zipper and they germinating. I got that box farm soil. Baby trees vegetated when they in that blood cycle. Better how you salivate. Can't wait to taste the flavor of my bubble gum. I tried it at the cafe. I loved it, now I'm doing some AK-47 to the California orange bud. I got a strain I call Viagra to help you keep your thing up. Yeah, the lights is hot. I'm in a 12x12 with 4,000 watts. Yeah, my thumb is green and I raise the best of the drink that you ever seen. Yeah, my buds is stinking. Don't smoke too much of that one, the high is tripping. Yeah, super medication for ya. Got me being raw, I can raise your glass for ya. Flame it up, vaporize it, put it in some recipe. I took some super silver haze, shit in the green tea. Love has some bud that he called white sugar. Full of THC and hella sticky like a booger. Used to call it Portland, now we call it Portland. Y'all be playing roses while we be playing pot, man. Got to see my spot, man. Room full of hot, man. I'm trying to do genies, but that you gon' be like. Now we call it Portland. Y'all be planting roses while we be planting pot, man. Y'all should see my spot, man. Room full of hot lamps. Comments when you see these, but then you gon' be like, oh damn. Look at all these trees and my weed ain't got no seeds and it smell like tangerine. Can I have a sample, please? I'ma be like, get that pipe up off my desk, let the smoke up in your chest, and let the weed just do the rest. Weed smokers, peace and love, baby, Mac and Dove, and the smoking section, smoking section.
I know what I'm doing.
He held that truth like a fistful of lightning. Put it out in the world and he let it go. And it went viral out into cyberspace until nobody could say that they didn't know. And what you don't know can kill you. The truth will get you arrested. And what you don't know can kill you. The truth will get you arrested. Should have seen him popping off shots in the helicopter as it hovered overhead. Should have seen the figures on the ground duck and run for cover, tangled in the wounded and the dead. It wasn't like they said it was going to be. There were no heroes in the white hats. And those people on the ground, they weren't even soldiers, they were civilians. What do you think about that? Oh, what you don't know can kill you. The truth will get you arrested. Oh, what you don't know can kill you. The truth will get you arrested. They came for Bradley Manning, put him in a little white room where the light was always on. And they locked the door behind them. They said, we're going to give you justice until the justice is all gone. And what you don't know can kill you. The truth will get you arrested. And what you don't know can kill you. The truth will get you arrested. Yes, it will. Secrets are the fuel to run the big machine. The secrets are the poison of our history. The secrets are a coward that don't like to be seen. They hide in mystery, in mystery. Now what you don't know can kill you. The truth will get you arrested. Now what you don't know can kill you. The truth will get you arrested. They say that history is written by the victors who define it and then they nail it down. Yeah, that history is a wheel and wheels spin around. You can't hide away forever, you know, sooner or later somebody's gonna see you. And Chelsea Manning blew the whistle, and that makes her a hero to me. Now what you don't know can kill you. The truth will get you arrested. What you don't know can kill you. The truth will get you arrested. Get you arrested. Get you arrested.
I've been working with the Safer Shirts ever since I read the book, Marijuana is Safer, So Why Are We Driving People to Drink? By Steve Fox, Paul Armentano, Mason Tavert, with foreword by retired Seattle Police Chief Norm Stamper. I'm an occupational safety and health professional, and I believe an employee who comes into work after a night of drinking is more dangerous than an employee who comes into work after a night of smoking. It's part of the reason why I'm working with real legalization. We have the short sheets. You've probably seen a petition that can hold 20 signatures, somebody standing out in front of Walmart asking you to give the chickens larger cages. But with our petition, we also have another option called the short sheet. It only holds 4 signatures, but it also folds into its own envelope. So you get a couple of signatures from your friends, put a stamp on it, and mail it in. Instant activist. Check out reallegalization.org and look for Safer Shirts on the internet. There's a lot of information to be found there. Read the book, Marijuana Safer, So Why Are We Driving People to Drink? Thank you for coming to Seattle Hemp Fest.
So we have a little bit of hemp seed here. You want to give a plug for your radio network?
TimeForHemp.com global broadcasting network, heard on iHeartRadio. We have about 30 hosts broadcasting over 60 hours of original content about the need to end prohibition. We are broadcasting in French, Japanese, and Spanish, along with English, all around the world. And like a joint, we are best shared with friends. TimeForHemp.com. Go there, hit the donate button, and hit the play button and listen all day long. Thank you, Paul.
All right. Thank you, Casper. You know, we'll be back with another live show next week. We're going to go out with some more great music with Jansu Hurst and John Cornett. I want to thank you folks for watching. Check out our website at hemp.org, and we have lots of news at hemp.org/news. Tune in next week and help us restore hemp.
Well, he's a hit at the Hemp Fest rallies and a hit at the Hemp Stock too. Strutting with fudge and brownies, and he wants to share with you. He's the candy man, the sugar shaking, fudge baking, brownie baking son of a gun. He's the candy man, sugar shaking, fudge baking, brownie baking son of a gun.